We all got secrets.
For all of my straight and bi men listening and my gay and bi women listening, everybody who has sex with women and wants to do better, I've got a product for you. Have you heard of Kenneth Play? He is an Adonis of a man, and he has put together a video course teaching others how to please women the way only he knows how. I have personally had the pleasure of spending an intimate evening with Kenneth. I don't think I've ever had a first-time sexual encounter with somebody that was just 100% pleasurable. There was never a moment of pain. There was never a moment of meh. He knew my body better than I knew my body. He found pleasure spots in me that I did not know I had, and he made me come many times. I have gifted his web course, Beyond Satisfied Pro, to lovers of mine, and in every case, they have become better lovers as a result. And now I would like to gift this to you with a 15% discount. Go to kennethplay.com/closeted. That link gets you 15% off Kenneth's Beyond Satisfied Pro course. This is just for my listeners. Trust me, no one regrets being great in bed, and this course will get you there. kennethplay.com/closeted.
We all got secrets. We all got secrets. We all got secrets. We all got raise a glass and bear your soul. Oven kept in high and served with bleach and Molitor. Oven kept we all got secrets.
Welcome back, Pinecones, to the Closet Ed interview series, which I am loving making for you so much. Oh, it's so much. I didn't realize how much fun this was going to be. I came up with this strategy to keep the feed alive while I'm in between seasons for the actual show, which is so hard and time consuming to make, especially considering that I'm now doing it all on my own. So this was just a strategy, but it has become like the highlight of my week. Like, I love doing these interviews so much because I get to talk to the coolest people. And this week is no exception. This week, I am bringing you my interview with Dr. Elliot Justin, the founder of FirmTech, a company that makes how do I describe it? It's a health wearable, okay? It's like a Fitbit, except for your cock. If you have a cock, if you got a cock, you can buy the FirmTech erection ring, which slides nicely over your package and gently holds you. And also collects amazing biometric data that lets you monitor your sexual health and your cardiovascular health. How cool is that? It's like, this is mind-blowing. Like, it's a whole new evolution of wearables, like fitness and health wearables, meshing with sex tech, which I think is a fascinating corner of the industry. And this company is right on the cutting edge. This product has helped thousands of men figure out what was going on with them, with their struggles with maintaining arousal during sexual encounters. And for many men, it has helped them figure out, oh my God, I don't have ED. I have a heart problem that I need to address now before it gets so bad that it's too late. Dr. Elliot Justin is also a really forthcoming sex-positive man in his own right. As you might imagine, I don't know, a lot of doctors are stuffy. A lot of science types are stuffy. At some point in this interview, he says something about, yeah, I showed up at Harvard and I realized these are not my people. which I kind of love. Not dissing on people who go to Harvard, but it's nice when you get to talk to somebody who's of that academic ilk, who's able to call out sort of the limitations of the academic community and speak in a more authentic and real and down-to-earth fashion that actually takes into account real human desires and real human sexuality and real human struggles within sexuality. So, without further ado, here is Dr. Elliot Justin. Dr. Elliot Justin, welcome to the Closet Ed interview series. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks for the opportunity.
So you're the first like sex tech entrepreneur / doctor that I've talked to on this interview series. My show is a lot more about like people's personal sex stories. So I'm going to make you get personal with my audience. I would like to know, well, first of all, and I know you've talked about this on a lot of other podcasts, but for my listeners, how did you get involved in the world of sex tech? How did you come to found this company, FirmTech, that's looking out for men's sexual health in this innovative new way?
I'm going to tell you the long version because you want me to get personal.
Yeah, get
Well,
personal.
the long version really starts when I was a teenager. My mother, I don't know many doctors, matter of fact, I don't know any doctors whose mothers took them to see a urologist several times when they were teenagers because she was concerned that their masturbation habit would lead to them not getting into college. So I, I've always been particularly interested in sex. And by the way, I didn't think that masturbating 7 or 8 times a day was excessive. After all, I had good grades. And
How
mom,
many
here
times a day?
I am now.
How many times a day?
7, no, 8 was probably my record. But
Wow. Okay.
one of the doctors asked me, "So when do you stop?" I said, "Well, when there's blood." But the last time I went was when I was like 17 years old, and the doctor said, "Oh, it's probably excessive, blah blah blah." And then as I was leaving the office, the doctor called me back and said, "Hey, Elliot, you don't have to put up with your mother for one more year. You'll be in college next year. You can do whatever you want." Anyway, I've always been really interested in sex. And then skipping ahead to medical school, I learned an important lesson on my first day of medical school. I went to Harvard University undergraduate, and I was going across the river to Boston University for medical school. And there was a girl at the subway station I could tell she was going to the same place. She'd been in my class at Harvard. And you know how when you're that young, maybe not you, when you're that young, there was certain couple of girls in college, I was just too intimidated to even speak to them.
I definitely, I was a late bloomer. I was like that too. I can relate.
So this girl had intimidated me for several years, but now I'm graduating college and going to medical school. I'm more confident. I sat down next to her on the train, and it was such a great lesson for a man because she was really, really pretty. But by the time we got to the Charles River, I was so bored that it was such this whole obsession has been so crazy. I can't stand this person. And then when I got to medical school, I looked around, and I thought, these are not my people. These are serious, hardworking people. So I went to the medical library, and at that time there was something called the Index Medicus. Today everything's online. Back then everything was in print, and the Index Medicus was like the size of an encyclopedia, and it was every medical article that had ever been published over the last years. And so I went for the A volume. I wanted to read about aphrodisiacs. Now there wasn't exactly a line of other medical students behind me clawing, "Hey, I want the A book. No, I want the A book. I want the A book." No, it was just me. And there were a lot of things in there, but none of them worked. And a lot of them are still being recommended today. Horny goatweed, maca root, L-arginine, nitric oxide, yohimbe. And I played around with these things in medical school, and none of them worked. It was kind of disappointing. Jumping ahead many years, I live in Montana, and I own horses, and I ride. My wife, who's in the room right now, says I ride like a 12-year-old. That's not true. I ride at least like a 25-year-old.
We're talking about horses.
Horses, that's right. I'm talking about horses. Some do-gooder had cut a tree that had fallen over a trail in the valley next to us. It's actually called Paradise Valley. Don't tell anyone about it because paradise really does exist. But I was riding.
Put it on a podcast that goes out into the world.
Because there was a tree in this trail, and it was a beautiful summer day, and I was going probably like 30, 35 miles per hour, and I came around a turn, and someone had cut a tree that had fallen over the trail so you could walk underneath it, but you couldn't ride a horse underneath it. So I smashed that tree, and I'm certain that tree is still complaining about me, but I broke 6 ribs and 6 vertebrae. And as I was lying on the ground, I first assessed the fact that I wasn't going to bleed out. And then the next thing I did, this is important for all your viewers. If anyone of your listeners think I might have a spinal cord injury, you need to perform the cock-up sign on yourself. What is the cock-up sign? If you cock up your big toe, you can urinate, defecate, and fornicate, the big 3. So I knew that I was going to be okay, but it's going to be a lot of pain.
You know all that just from if you can...
Cocking up that big toe.
Wow.
Are you cocking your big toe right now? Yeah, you probably are. Yeah.
I totally am. Yeah. I can do all of those things. When you said you smashed the tree, I thought you meant like you took an axe and you smashed it so you could pass. Like,
no, I took it on my chest.
You ran right into that tree.
And
my God.
I wasn't wearing any body armor, and I was like, kind of like jousting without anything.
Yeah. No, not recommended.
No.
Not a good sport.
Got me interested, though, in what's been done to rehabilitate sexual function in men and women who have had a spinal cord injury. And there were several papers in the medical literature claiming that they're able to neuromodulate human sexuality in men and women with multiple sclerosis or spinal cord injuries. So what's neuromodulation? Most people know what cardiac pacemaking is. We're implanting an electrode in the heart, and we have an external generator, one actually on the skin, and we can control the beating of the heart. Now imagine we could do that with sex, especially in an aging population. So that really intrigued me. And I tried it out on 2 rams, male sheep first, and we got weak erection, relatively strong ejaculation, but we also got urination defecation. So it wasn't exactly bedroom friendly. I had 2 choices. I could either go out and raise $12, $15 million and go down to Nigeria or Brazil and find a bunch of men with ED and have a surgeon implant the electrode in them, or I could try it out on myself.
Wow.
So I tried it out on myself. And before this experiment, my wife, Annie, said, if you fry your nuts, it's divorce.
No, Annie. Is she giving you side eye over there? Why are you telling people this, Elliot?
Because it's closeted. That's why I'm telling
there
people.
You go. This is where we bring the secrets out to the open. Thank you.
I had a friendly urologist at UCSF, went to his clinic in California, and he implanted electrode by my pudendal and cavernous nerves, everyone's 2 favorite nerves that no one's ever heard of. The nerves are responsible for arousal and climax.
Can you say them slower?
Sure. The pudendal nerve, and the cavernous nerves.
We are getting a science lesson today, everybody.
These nerves come out from underneath the cute bone in men and women. They're pretty much the same. And I felt nothing. We tried all sorts of amplitude, frequencies, and voltages, and all I felt was a tingling from the electricity. I think we actually don't know about the neurophysiology of arousal and climax in men and women. I think it still is more mysterious than we think. Wow. And my wife will give praise to Aphrodite for this, but I think eventually we will we'll figure it out. We haven't yet. Anyway, years later, a urology professor at the University of Utah heard about this experiment, which I call Project O for obvious reasons, and he said, he's trying to figure out a way of counting the number of nocturnal erections that men have, because they're a lead indicator of the cardiovascular and sexual health. And I said, no fucking way. I never heard of that. And that's really incredible, because what do you mean they're a lead indicator? He said, well, they're predictive. So if a man has 4 nocturnal erections and it goes to 2, that man has up close to 50% chance of having a cardiovascular problem, a heart attack or angina in the next 2 years. And by the way, women have nocturnal clitoral erections as well, too. And it's probably going to be the same thing in women once we figure that out. So that kind of took me aback. So I said, well, I got to get involved with you. They got to figure this out. But let's not limit ourselves to nocturnal erections, because even though the night shift is really important, men want to know what's going on when they're having sex. So let's come up with a way of measuring the duration, firmness of all erections. And that's the backstory. So it's 4 years ago we started. We've embedded sensors into what people call a cock ring. I prefer to call it an erection ring, because cock ring kind of puts it in that sex toy novelty. Hey, it's Valentine's Day. Let's get a cock ring. This is actually more serious than that. An erection, it should be called an erection ring, because it's sustaining erections. It's actually it's not a sexual optimizer for all men. Most men don't understand this. Anyway, we count the number of nocturnal erections overnight. We measure their duration of firmness as well as sex erections. And with this information, men and their healthcare providers can now, or their girlfriends or wives or boyfriends, can now assess the impact of diabetes, hypertension, obesity, exercise, supplements, recreational drugs, alcohol, relationships upon their sexual health. And ideally, prevent problems, get signals early. Because what do we want from a wearable, health wearable? We want to get early signals. We are all, even, I mean, Samia, you look like you're like 12 years old. No, I'm joking. You're like 20 years old.
I'm 42.
You look fabulous. All of us, we're all on, by the way, I'm wearing makeup to look older, and I dyed my hair gray for this because
I could tell. Yeah, you didn't do a very good job.
No,
You
no.
should try harder. Harvard.
I want to be taken more serious. If I told you I was 45, you wouldn't take me seriously. But if I, with this, he must be a wise man.
You do look very wise.
Thank you.
And you sound very wise when you talk. It's clear that you went to school in Boston.
A long time, yeah. Kind of embarrassing these days, actually. Anyway, we want to get people rolling this on the road from erectile fitness, men and women, to erectile dysfunction. We all would like to know where am I on this road, but we don't have a dashboard. So breakdowns and crashes occur because we don't have any data. We don't know where we're going, know where we are. Ideally, we have a dashboard that say, here's where I am. Things are great. Maybe I'll just check the dashboard periodically, the way you would check the dashboard of your car. You're not looking at the engine light or your fuel light all the time, but it's all there for you. On the other hand, if your dashboard, when it comes to our dashboard, is flashing a problem, well, ideally it's flashing a problem before it becomes a big problem. So for example, if a man's nocturnal erections are deteriorating in number, duration, firmness, that could be a signal of a problem before it becomes more challenging to address.
So the idea is it's this wearable that you put around your penis, like at the base of your cock, or does it go all the way around your cock and balls?
There it is.
All right, beautiful. Okay, so it goes around both. It's got 2 rings. Beautiful. Thank you for the visual. I appreciate that. And it collects data, and ideally you want to be wearing it when there are no problems so that if something changes, it acts as like a canary in a coal mine of there being issues. Is that the idea?
The penis is called the canary in the coal mine of cardiovascular and sexual health. Of course, you can wear it when you have problems as well, too, because it'll tell you how bad that problem is.
Yeah. So it's giving you information on how many erections you're having, but what other information does this give you?
How hard your erections are and how long they last. So a question that a man should be asking himself, especially a man over the age of 45, the questions are you having 4 or more nocturnal erections per night?
Is that sort of the standard?
That's, yeah. And we have a database of over 190,000 erections now.
Because you've been running studies and experiments with people. Yeah. Tell me about that.
This is the world's largest dick database. And with this database, no one else has this information. With this database, a man uses our app. In the app, there's a screen that says, how do I compare to an average man my age range? And what's optimal? Because we really want to be optimal. I mean, when I look at my data, it's not like, hey, great, I'm average. No, I want to be in the 89th percentile. Hey,
you want at least a B+.
Samia, if you're the data guy, you should want to know what his data is. I'm certain that all this data will be on people's dating apps in just 2 or 3 years.
You think?
Because after all, the guy.
Can you imagine people have a dick score?
It's gonna be true for
a
women.
Wearable like this.
It's going to be true for women as well too.
Are you developing a product for women?
Got one right here in my hand.
Let me see it. Can we see it? Are we breaking news? Look at her.
There's the clitoris.
So it goes inside of you.
This goes inside.
And
there's a pressure sensor here to measure PCG muscle contraction. But I'm more interested in the clitoris. No one has studied the clitoris before.
I know. It's like women don't exist.
Actually, there's a lot more research on women than on men, so it's like both sexes don't. When it comes to sex, we're both neglected.
That's really what it is.
And when it comes to sexual pleasure, men have shit and women have vibrators. So it's kind of, I think women have a lot to complain about, especially when it comes to postmenopausal hormones. I mean, women should be taking testosterone, but when it comes to assessment of the health of the clitoris or the penis, no one's doing it other than us. There's one company in the United Kingdom that has a nocturnal device, but there's no one. So think about it. We live in this incredible age of smart wearables for health. Aura, Whoop, Apple, Garmin. There's so many. And yet, sex. And what do people care more about than sex? Honestly, truly, that's so.
For a culture that's so afraid to talk about it, frankly, we are obsessed with it. And I think part of the obsession comes from suppression. the cultural suppression of the topic. I think that
Sure.
we could all be a lot more free and liberated and happy if we didn't have so much pressure to just like keep our mouths shut and pretend that it's normal to not want to talk about sex. Everybody wants to talk about sex.
Well, my wife looks at me like every couple of weeks and says, it had to be you. Meaning, because the technology that we're doing is like 20 years old. What she means by that is it had to be a doctor who understood how to do research. It had to be a doctor who understood how to get credibility among physicians. It had to be someone who's really interested in sex. It had to be someone who's really familiar with sex toys. And cock rings suck. But when this urology professor at the University of Utah, he's now my chief medical officer, came to me, with this idea about tracking nocturnal erections, and I said, well, let's assess all erections. And I asked him, have you used a cock ring? Of course, the answer was no, because almost all doctors are what I call cock ring virgins. They don't understand that all men will benefit from a ring. And I didn't understand this either. In fact, 4 years ago, if you had told me, hey, Elliot, you're going to be speaking to Samia Mounts about cock rings, I would have said, why? I don't need one. But it's not about need. It's about want. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about that, actually. Like, from a doctor's point of view, I think this is really interesting. Why is a cock ring so beneficial for good sex?
Well, it goes back to, first we talk about why the vast majority of men who think they have ED or been told they have ED don't have ED. Because ED is one of these really negative, talk about shaming things that guys don't want to talk about with their doctor or their friends. They go online to get pills, and that's kind of stupid in a way, and here's why. So the International Society for Sexual Medicine has misdiagnosed, misdefined erectile dysfunction. I think they did it with good intentions, but the end result has been a lot of people making money prescribing things that aren't necessarily effective. Mm-hmm. So here it is.
And at worst, dangerous.
At worst, dangerous. The first part of the definition, inability or difficulty achieving an erection. Well, that's 12 to 13% of men. And these are men who either aren't pumping enough blood, their heart is weak, they have angina, congestive heart failure, heart attacks, etc. Or, more commonly, their pipes are narrowed. The arteries that take the blood from the heart to the penis are narrowed due to common diseases like half the population has: diabetes, hypertension, more than half the population, atherosclerosis. And that's about 12 to 30% of men. But the vast majority of men fit the second part definition. Their problem is not they have difficulty achieving erection. And I'm not talking about getting drunk or smoking too much pot and you can't get erection. I'm talking about, consistent problem. The second part definition is difficulty maintaining erection. Well, that's a totally different group. Men who can't maintain erection. First, they're getting erection. They're getting blood in and putting a little more blood in with a pill. That's nice. But they're getting blood in. So the therapy really should be directed at keeping blood in. Now, the reason why these men are losing the erection could be multifactorial. It could be they and the partner are not getting along all that well, or there's a baby crying in the next room, or they're worried about paying the mortgage, or maybe having that fourth cocktail was a mistake. I get up, but I can't keep it up. Or maybe
they have trauma, or they have anxiety, or
or maybe I should have danced that last time. I'm tired now. I know I can get it up. Yeah. I'm worried about keeping it up. Or it could be doctors prescribe medications to men and to women. I call them the cock and click killers. They're antihypertensives and they're antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications that interfere with the ability to sustain erection. And so it could be a whole combination of factors. But once a man gets hard and then loses it, as his confidence fails, the therapy should be directed to keep blood in. And it's only a ring will do that. And
so it's a physical way to keep the blood in the penis when it's hard.
We're compressing the superficial veins, and doing that helps keep the blood in. Now, there are men with deeper venous leaks. That's a more serious problem. But the vast majority of men, it's the leak of the superficial veins in the penis. And every man or any woman who wants to prove with a man can prove this tonight. This is so easy. Get rock hard and then no stimulation. Erection will go down about 25, 35 seconds. Get rock hard again and use our ring. Of course, any ring will do, but use our ring because our ring's the best. You're going to stay hard for close to 3 minutes, 2.5 to 3 minutes. Now take 10 milligrams of tadalafil or 50 milligrams of Viagra. Get rock hard again. And alone, in isolation, that will keep you hard for about 2 minutes. The two together will keep the average man hard for close to 4 minutes. And the takeaway from this research is Men, if you want to optimize your performance, put a ring on and take a pill. And that's a game changer for the way in which men are thinking. So you have to initiate the conversation. If
Yeah.
they can make money doing it, though, remember, the more boxes they check, the more money they collect from the insurance companies. We doctors talk about shit, piss, vomit, body odor, all sorts of disgusting things. It's not that we're inhibited. We're not embarrassed to talk about disgusting things, and sex is not disgusting. We just have no incentive to do it because there's imagine if taking a good sexual history would put another $35 into your doctor's pocket. Look, my wife has never had anyone ask her about her sexual health in a meaningful way. Yeah, about birth control. I've never had a urologist until I asked, or certainly never a cardiologist or a primary care doctor asked me about my sexual health. They're not incentivized to do it, and that's a problem. If they did, things would be a lot better. Because the key question that a doctor should be asking a man is, do you struggle to get an erection, or do you get an erection and lose it? The most common problem is that men getting an erection and losing it. I've spoken to probably several hundred men, certainly over the last two or 3 years when I'm at this, more than a couple hundred men. And there are 3 things I've learned that men complain about women that they don't want to discuss with their partners.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this.
So we talk a lot about the importance of communication relationship, but here are the 3 things. And one of them involves me, and I'll discuss my experience with it. 2 of them actually do. The first one is women in the middle of sex, even when they're really turned on in a committed relationship, will suddenly start talking about something else. Something with the kids, something at work, something with their mother.
And shit, I forgot to pick up bleach.
Yes.
Yeah.
And someone's like, and for a man, this is like a what the fuck moment.
Yeah.
So the other one thing that men don't want to talk about with women, and this one's it kind of blends with the next one as well too, is boredom. In a committed relationship, people often fall into the pattern of just, hey, especially since the women in general, I'm not going to talk about gay men right now, different group, different activities, but the women control what's going on. If a woman likes a certain position, that position gets done again and again and again and again and again. Men are very reluctant to tell their partners, not rear entry, not missionary position. It's boring, because it's a turnoff to the woman. The last one is friction. As women get older, especially if they had kids, men don't get the friction they did when the vagina was younger.
Does it help if we do our Kegels? I'm doing them right now.
Not much.
Really?
Yeah, because you haven't had 3 kids.
I have not had any kids, thank God.
So the Kegels are great at your age, and your condition, but they're less effective. When you push a baby through, it's a problem. So what's the impact? I'll make this really personal. I'll talk about the impact upon my marriage.
Yeah, thank you.
So a few years ago, I would get annoyed with my wife because what's the most common thing in a relationship? I've heard about this. I hear about this from my customers as well too. In a good relationship, okay, I go down to my wife, maybe with a vibrator. She has an orgasm. She's now in her post-orgasmic bliss. Doesn't want to put out much for me. She wants me to either fuck her from behind or fuck her in the missionary position. But I'm bored with that position. I don't get the friction that I want. And I actually could use a little bit more attention from your hand or your mouth. This is the way that when men talk to each other, if they're going to be honest, this is what they're talking about. And so I would actually get annoyed with my wife after she'd have an orgasm because she wanted to have sex in one of those 2 positions. Like, it's boring. So, but you don't want to tell a person that's bored. But I would get, matter of fact, a couple of times, like, I'm going to lose my erection if you miss. If you're just lying there. Meanwhile, it's unfair to her because she's in this in her sort of joyful, post-orgasm bliss, and I'm her partner, and this is true of the men I talk to, and I'm thinking about something else at the moment. Like, so the ring changes that though.
The ring changes that. It makes the missionary or the doggy
better.
Style more exciting.
Because you're not going to lose because the ring is maintaining the erection. So even if you don't want to come in that position, you're still hard. A guy, a man who's still hard is thinking very differently than a man who's losing his erection. I'll illustrate this with another anecdote. So
thank you.
It was about 4 years ago this February that I came up with a form of the ring. We live in Montana. My wife and I were fucking, and she's really turned on. And suddenly it's like she remembers, oh, I left the garage door open. It's like Montana in February and snowing outside. Now,
That could be a problem.
the realm of masculinity has really shrunk, but there isn't a relationship in the whole fucking world where the woman's going to jump out of bed. I'll close the garage door. I'll get dressed. No. This is a man's job to close the garage door. So downstairs, down I go. This is a garage door, but the rear door of a car is open because she's taking groceries, I guess. I'm coming back up the steps and she says, "Ooh, Ellie, do you know that Ocho Rio tequila I like so much? Can you put some on the rocks with a little bit of tequila?" Now, ordinarily, this would have been a, what the fuck? Get your own fucking tequila. Game over, blah, blah.
But you're already downstairs.
Yeah.
What?
I'm already downstairs and I'm pissed off. But I'm not, because why?
The whole thing with the garage door was a ploy to get you to get tequila for.
No. So I came upstairs and I'm still hard because I have the ring on.
Nice. Wow.
So
her
point to me was, well, you see, the garage door was really open, but the tequila was a test. and then we proceeded to have sex. And why is that? Because a man who's losing her erection, he's irritable. But a guy who's got a hard on, now he's a puppy.
All right.
He's a puppy ready to go.
And he feels like a champ.
So
you're saying these three most common things that can cause men to lose their erections and have trouble getting them back are all overcome by wearing a cock ring. And if they wear the FirmTech erection ring, they're also getting valuable health data.
Right.
Does it do anything else? Does it vibrate? Does it light up? What is it? Is there a screen? Does it connect to an app? How does it work?
There's a Bluetooth-enabled app, and we give you your data, and it's interactive. We give you notifications like, "Hey, Elliot, since you've been sleeping with some Samia, you're having twice as much sex. Man, this is a great relationship. Keep it up."
I want to put it on the guy that I'm currently sleeping with, because we could get lots of good information.
Good data,
about how good I am for him.
Yeah, you could be promoting that on your website. Hey, look, this guy's average erectile fitness score was 7.2, but now that he's with me, he's a fucking 10 every night.
So I am good for your sexual health, gentlemen, actually. I'm advertising a different product. All right. So do you have...
This is the ring mate. This is the vibrator. This is
so
invented
those
by my
two
wife.
little rings, they stretch that much? Pull them out so we can see.
Basically,
I want to see them
stretch like this.
Look at that.
But look at this. It slides on and off our rings, and it sits right there. So
the rings are separate. Got it.
Right. This comes on or off. My wife invented this for hands-free penetrative sex, really most with her on top. And her complaint about it was, "I'm coming too quickly." So
that's like a vibrating attachment?
A vibrating attachment. It's called a ring mate.
For your erection ring?
All the rings. It fits on the TechRing and the non-Tech rings.
Wow.
And
nice.
We actually end up using it differently. Here's some top secret stuff for people.
Okay, yeah, give it.
Because we actually use it. We take it off and use it with our hands.
I like that.
And why is that? Because as a guy or a woman, it's easier to get to slide in because it's real discreet. But what do I like most about it? If we're having sex from behind, without this, if rubbing a clitoris in this, your hand like this, you've done this. I don't know. You're young. My wrist starts to hurt right there. It's fatigue.
Yeah.
So, but with
it's
this,
awkward.
Well, now I'm a finger vibrator.
Now you can keep your hand flat.
You got it.
But it's hitting the right spot.
And
oh my goodness.
Here's something extra secret about this. My wife likes it inside of her. Why? Because it sits behind the pubic bone. So she's getting vibrations to the clitoris through the bone. Well, that's a fresh sensation. And everyone likes a fresh sensation.
Like you have it on your fingers and you put it inside of her while wearing it on your hand? Or
just put the whole thing inside.
Just put the whole thing inside.
And then for a man, the head of your penis is now resting. So one side's vibrating her pubic bone from behind.
Vibrating pussy. Vibrating pussy. Ooh, we like a vibrating pussy. Yes,
and then the head of the cock is now resting against the vibrator, and that's a fresh sensation as well too. Because I don't know, Samia, maybe your vagina vibrates, but my wife's vagina does not vibrate.
If I breathe really fast, no.
So it's
so
exciting.
It's a sex toy. Listeners, if you're listening to this in audio form, but you're not watching it on YouTube or Spotify, I recommend going and watching it because you're going to see visuals that make it very clear how this will make you feel very good in bed. I am a fan. I want to try this so badly myself.
So it's a couple other things. All of the rings, they're all adjustable. They all have a hook for easy on, easy off. That hook idea was inspired by the bra.
Nice.
Because a
That
bra
looks
is
a lot less annoying than a bra hook.
a bra
though,
is a ring that opens and closes. You don't put it on over your head. It opens and closes with a hook. And I saw my wife's bra on the floor and I thought, duh, let's make a cock ring that opens and closes with a hook because it's easy on, easy off, as opposed to these uncomfortable hard silicone
where
rings.
you have to like squish it on.
Right.
Or I got one recently that was adjustable and it had like basically like holes in it and then like a little guy that you'd stick in the right hole, but it was so hard to snap it. Like it wouldn't close.
And also sometimes if you snap a guy's skin accidentally.
Yeah, no, and that could be really painful. Yeah, I was scared of that too. We retired that ring after one attempt at using it. I'm returning it.
Yeah.
This is a genius idea with the hook.
I've never had a ring that I liked until this one. I've been playing around with rings since I was, a teenager. Anyway, this ring, the Maximum Performance Ring, is designed to put the right amount of pressure over the urethra to increase the ejaculatory phase. The longer the ejaculatory phase in men, the more powerful the orgasm. So we tested this on 28 men, aged 28 to 70. I was the oldest guy in the test group. And we wanted the right degree of stretch and sponginess of the elastomer to increase the ejaculatory phase by 50%. My ejaculatory phase goes from 4 seconds to 7 seconds. And that's an incredible orgasm. I don't have sex without a ring. 4 years ago, if you asked about rings, I would have said, these hard silicone rings, they suck. And now it's like, I don't have sex without a ring because it's so much better. My wife says she's glad the kids are out of the house and noisy. And my wife's idea of foreplay is, put on red lipstick and give me a ring. I'm a guy. I'm easy. But she doesn't want to have sex with me without the ring. And why is that? One, men like it when women are loud. Women like it when men are noisy as well too. I'm not screaming, but yeah.
It's so weird when y'all are silent, and so many of you just come silently, and like I don't know that you came, and you expect me to like feel things that are happening deep inside of me, and I don't. So make a sound, God damn it, men.
I agree with you. Anyway, the sounds come naturally with this, and and then also.
Yeah, does it intensify the sensation as well? Like it keeps you hard, but does it?
Yes, because here's why. The more blood that's held especially in the head of the penis, the most sensitive part, the more intense the pleasure. So a ring, I'll talk about our ring. Our rings in general increase the girth, the circumference of the penis by about 3 to 5 millimeters. That's
and
not
we
a
all
lot.
know what girth does for a woman's pleasure.
But this is a little bit of girth, but it's like 3 to 5 millimeters. But
It can make a difference.
So no one's going to walk by and say, "Oh, fucking porn star." But that's more blood beyond rock hard. There's cock ring hard. That's more blood than I can hold in a penis with a mouth, a hand, a vagina, or a butt. So the more blood is held in, the more intense the orgasm is. The more sensitive, and also the most sensitive parts of the penis are the glands and the part, just below the glands.
Ugh,
Put
amazing.
a ring on it. Take a pill.
Put a ring on it.
And
all right.
Get your data.
And get your data. So we've got like 10 minutes left. So I wanted to ask you if there's any patient stories that stand out in your memory for how this came in handy for someone, either from a sexual pleasure perspective or from an avoiding like catastrophic health outcomes perspective.
I'm aware of 3 men who've gotten cardiac catheterizations because their data was so terrible. 2 of those 3 men, it resulted in divorce because these are men who were blaming their sexual problems on their wives.
Wow.
And their wives got fed up with being blamed, like, "Hey, you're fat. Hey, they would demean their wives for a long period of time. And, in all 3 cases, the women bought a TechRing for their husbands. And their husbands were able to see that, no, you have 1 to 2 nocturnal erections. You have a cardiovascular problem. Nocturnal erections. You have a cardiovascular problem and you need to see a doctor. And 3 of the men got cardiac catheterizations.
And they also sounds like needs to see a therapist.
And 2 of those situations, they got divorced because the women were fed up.
Who wants to be blamed for shit that's not their fault constantly and demeaned? That's awful. I'm
aware of 2 divorces because men don't password protect the app. Both cases actually, their wives went into their data, and it's like, well, how come you tell me you're too tired to have sex, but you're having You had sex on Tuesday, you had sex on Wednesday, you had sex on Thursday night, and you had sex on Sunday. And you told me that you're playing golf with the guys, whatever the fuck the excuse were. But
Whoa.
the data.
Okay, so if you're cheating, password protect.
Yeah.
Password protect that app, cheating cheaters. Actually, no, you know what? Don't get caught, you jerks.
Get divorced.
Just
leave.
have a
Be
conversation
honest. Be
about
honest.
non-monogamy, for heaven's sake. I'm non-monogamous and very happy about it. Specifically because of bullshit like that. Wow.
We've had 3 men who were going to get penile implants. They were recommended by their urologist to get an implant because the situation was hopeless. And they had nocturnal erections.
And then what happened? So they didn't need to get the implants? Like, what did they?
They needed therapy. They
needed therapy.
They needed therapy.
Wow. So essentially, this product can help you figure out what the real reason behind your sexual dysfunction is, so that you can actually address it. Whether it's cardiovascular health, something psychological.
Yeah, I had a guy about 6 weeks ago, a very wealthy man, who told me he'd spent $16,000 trying to figure out why he had ED. He got shockwave therapy, he got a P shot, he'd gotten Botox injection, he was taking Viagra, he was maxed on testosterone. He still says he was still struggling to maintain an erection. So I asked him the question that doctor should have asked him, which is, what happens when you go to bed with your wife? And he said, well, I get turned on, I get an erection, and then I go down on her, and then while I'm going down on her, I lose my erection, and then she wants me to stuff my soft dick into her in the missionary position, and it just doesn't work. And I said, well, try the Max Performance Ring. It's only $60. And he did. Stayed hard while going down on her. He's now having sex in the missionary position. I think it's kind of boring, but he's happy. He's having sex in the missionary position, and she's happy too, because she's got a guy who can now give her what she wants, which is missionary position sex after she's had an orgasm. He called me up and said, gee, I spent $16,000 and didn't get a fix. I spent $60, and now I'm okay again.
That's amazing.
I've had men after prostate surgery. Men after prostate surgery often develop genuine significant erectile dysfunction. I had a guy who was 2 years out from prostate surgery and had pretty much given up. But his urologist said, speak to Elliot. He contacted me. I said, look, I don't know if I can help you, but I can tell you whether it's hopeless. Because if you're having no nocturnal erections and you're 2 years out from prostate surgery, it's probably hopeless, and you have to get an implant if you want to have an erection. He got our device. He wore it 4 or 5 nights. On the 4th or 5th night, he had a nocturnal erection. And then I told him, look, there's some sign of activity. Why don't you resume the therapy? The therapy being penis pumping, pelvic floor exercises, and taking 10 milligrams of tadalafil every day. That guy is now having sex 3 or 4 times a week with his wife. Yeah. And he and his wife say, without the technology, he would have given up. He wouldn't have known that they could still have the chance to recover.
You're like the erection fairy.
Don't call me a fairy.
Why not? They're magical creatures who grant wishes, okay? Let's blast this negative connotation right into the stratosphere.
I'll go with elf.
Okay, you're the erection elf. It's got alliteration. We love that. Elliot, the erection elf. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been absolutely phenomenal talking to you. You're fun. You're obviously sex positive. I also just love that you're talking about fucking, when you're like a long married man. It makes me so happy. And I think more people should talk this way and think this way and look out for themselves the way you look out for yourself and help other people do for themselves. So thank you for the work that you do.
You're welcome. People need to plan for pleasure. An orgasm a day.
Plan for pleasure.
An orgasm a day can keep the doctor away.
Yes, I love it. I follow that rule like at least 3 to 4 times a day.
Excellent.
All right. Dr. Justin, thank you so much for coming on ClosetEd. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's fun.
We all got secrets. We all got secrets.
How about Dr. Justin? I mean, all I can say is I would like to be having that active of a sex life when I am in my 60s or 70s. That is all. If you would like a 15% discount on any of FirmTech's products, all you got to do is go to myfirmtech.com and enter code ClosetEd at checkout. That'll get you a 15% discount. It'll also get me a little kickback. You'll be supporting the pod, and I really appreciate your support. Again, that's myfirmtech.com, discount code ClosetEd. Other ways to support me: if you are loving the show and it's making a difference in your life, but you're not in the market for an erection ring right now, I would love it if you would consider supporting me in one of three ways. Number one, a direct financial donation on Cash App or Venmo. Samia-Mounts on Venmo, Samia Mounts on Cash App. $5, $10, $20, $1,000. I will take whatever you are willing to send. If you feel you've gained some value from this, understand that 0 people are paying me for it right now. I'm doing it all just because I want to help the world. And I really do. I'm passionate about this. But it would be nice if it was bringing in some money to sustain it. So, direct financial donations. Number 2, subscribe to my Substack. Go to samiamounts.substack.com and subscribe and make a pledge if it's not activated yet, or if it is activated, then go ahead and subscribe at the level that you would like to subscribe at, however much you can afford to support me. You'll get essays there that discuss things that I'm too scared to talk about in more public free forums. And I want you to just think about how open I've been on this show about things like using the inner workings of my mother's electric toothbrush to masturbate as a teenager, to having a sugar daddy, and understand that I am going to be writing essays that are more personal than that, and you won't be able to see those stories anywhere else. So on top of supporting me in the podcast directly, you'll also be getting access to parts of me that I'm not going to be putting anywhere else. So, yee! All right. The third way that you can support me, if financial support is not something that you can do right now, totally get it. Share an episode of this show that has affected you in a positive way with 5 of your friends personally, either by sending them a link in a text message or in an email with a personal note, not a group chat, not a group email, like a one-on-one recommendation to 5 of your friends. It can be an episode you loved or an episode that you think might help them because you know something about their life and they might be helped by one of the things that I've talked about on here. It could be one of the interview episodes. It can be one of the regular episodes from the first season. It doesn't really matter to me as long as you're sharing. That really helps. Personal shares. That is how you build an audience. So please consider taking 5-10 minutes and share the show with your friends if you can't afford to financially support me. And thank you so much, y'all. I love hearing from you. Email me at closetedpodcast@gmail.com. If you think you'd be a good guest for season 2, if you've got an anonymous mini confession you want to put in a voice note and send to me via email, or if you've got a comment, an advice question you'd like me to answer, or any other thoughts or constructive criticism, or something that you'd like to hear me talk about that you haven't heard me talk about yet, email me, closetedpodcast@gmail.com. I read every email and I respond to every email, as long as it's, not creepy. Don't be creepy. You know who you are. All right. And also, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at samia.mounts and the show on Instagram at Closeted with Samia. I love your DMs. I love your comments. Please engage with my content. That is a way to support me as well. And I appreciate every single DM, every comment, every email. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening every week. I am seeing the numbers grow in my analytics, and I see that you guys are already doing a lot of this stuff, and my heart swells. I appreciate you all so much. And that's it. That's it for this week. I will see you next week with another tasty little installment of the ClosetEd Between Seasons bonus content. All right, my loves, go get laid this weekend. Why don't you? Stay saucy.
We all got secrets.
Hear that? That's what's called green noise. I'd never even heard of green noise before I discovered the BetterSleep app. Now I can't imagine my life without it. As a long-suffering insomniac and a person with ADHD, hello racing thoughts, BetterSleep has changed my life. Green noise is proven to soothe the mind, improving both relaxation and focus. So whether I need to fall asleep fast or settle in for some focused work, the BetterSleep app has my back, and I'm not alone. BetterSleep has over 65 million downloads. It's been featured in the New York Times, Forbes, and Today, and is an Apple App Store editor's choice. And green noise is just the beginning. The app has dozens of relaxing sounds you can mix together in different combinations depending on your needs. Here's the best part. You can try it for free for 30 whole days with the link bettersleep.com/closeted. That's right. You can get a whole month of great sleep for free. For real, this app is the only reason I'm functioning right now. I used to be so tired. Go try it. bettersleep.com/closeted.